People. Que pasa, sapa, say what they do. Now the first thing that is popping in the news is that I am asking a question. Did the government of Jamaica, the Ministry of Health, and more specifically Prime Minister Andrew Holness, is he having a double standard? Is he having a change of heart? Is he speaking from both sides of his mouth as he tries to reassure the country that he is doing everything to manage the risk of opening the border? May I talk about the airport, may I talk about the seaport? Because based on some new protocols, it is said that he has implemented some new strategies starting June 1st to June 14 and from beyond. So people, is it true or is it false? Is the Prime Minister of Jamaica bowing? Is he succumbing to the pressure of the tourist dollar? Is he succumbing to the pressure of, we are talking about the white people overseas, not the first world country? Is he succumbing to the pressures that is put on by the airlines? May I talk about the big airlines and also the Ministry of Tourism? Is he basically bowing because he wants that cash? So in other words, he is putting cash, he is putting wealth over the health of Jamaica. People, let me know what you think in the comment section. And the reason that I say that this is a double standard, because people, if you remember, this is the same Prime Minister, this is the same Ministry of Health that were pressuring the people in Jamaica and making sure that they are obeying and adhering to the protocols as it pertains to the Disaster Risk Management Act. So therefore, them lock down the beach, them lock down the river, them lock down the club, them lock down all forms of entertainment, and most persons were fine with, because they are saying that they are putting the wealth and the interest of the country before themselves. So people basically make a sacrifice, and people, it seems like all this sacrifice is now being thrown out the door because of the decision of the government. We are speaking about to put wealth over health. So people, is that any sort of sense? Does that make any sort of sense? Where is the rationing and where is the reason as it pertains to that? People, let me know what you think in the comment section. Now, in a recent news conference, we saw that the Prime Minister was trying to convince persons in Jamaica. He was trying to convince the media because he sounded very excited. He sounded like it was when Santa Claus came to the ghetto on Christmas. So basically, the Prime Minister was declaring to the world that this is freedom time, and starting June 1st to June 14, everybody coming to Jamaica, we are talking about Jamaican national, Jamaican citizens, and also the tourists, they will be screened, and depending on the result, they will be asked to quarantine and leave it up to each person's conscience to basically know if they are going to quarantine. And people, you have to remember, as it pertains to Jamaican, we are a stubborn set of persons. So people, do you think that it is rational? Do you think that it makes sense to leave it up to the conscience of Jamaican and other people to decide whether they are going to quarantine or not? People, let me know what you think in the comment section. Now people, don't get it twisted, don't get it misconstrued. It is not going to be a free-for-all. He is saying that only persons that are coming from a bubble country. And people, what do we call a bubble country? We are speaking about countries or islands that have managed. We are speaking about the COVID. That means that their risk is not very high. That means that the proportion of persons catching this contagious disease is a little bit compared to the majority of the people living in said place. And these are some of the bubble countries. We are speaking about Antigua and Barbuda. We are speaking about Barbados. We are speaking about Cayman Islands, Grenadine, St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Vincent and the Grenadine, Trinidad and Tobago, Montserrat, Turks and Caicos. Now people, let me ask you this question. Is America going to be one of those bubble countries? Because we know that there's a lot of American tourists that come to Jamaica, and a lot of the money derived from tourism come from either Canada, come from either UK, and come from either, we are talking about United States. So people, is there going to be some sort of exemption for those countries? Because the truth and the fact is that that is where majority of the persons are coming from. People, like me say, me just telling you what the Prime Minister is saying. I am just giving his reasons and his rationale. And like I said before, it sounds like he is speaking from both sides of his mouth. It sounds like there's a double standard. It sounds like he is selling out, he is bowing to that tourist dollar. So therefore, me just say it seems like it is wealth over health, point blank and period. Now, based on what the opposition leader is saying, and the people from the opposition, we are talking about the PNP, and people understand whenever there's anything, there's always some sort of politics. Everybody have their agenda. However, they are saying that this is a slow time for tourism, and because of the fact that the place is just opening up, and because of the fact that most persons are going to be paranoid, and a lot of persons are not even going to come to Jamaica until them have some sort of vaccination, until they feel very safe. Does it make sense to jeopardize all of the money that we spend? Because based on the Prime Minister, it is said that they have spent in excess of $1 billion US so far for basically manage. We are speaking about this COVID situation. So the point that I am trying to make is that, is the government being penny wise and pound foolish? Are they going to make back that money? Is the risk really worth it? We are speaking about for that little tourist dollar, for all the money where we spend, for all the sacrifices that Jamaicans and everybody all over the place have made. Because remember, everybody basically have to stay home. Nobody can go on a beach. Nobody can go on a river. So how is it that these persons that are strangers and not citizens of Jamaica can basically come and do whatever they so choose? Because they are spending that green buck, or because they are spending that pound or euro, rate and lele. People, is that double standard? Let me know what you think in the comment section. Now, like I've always said, there are always three sides to every story. There is a JLP side, there is a PNP side, and then there's a side of truth and common sense. And based on what the Prime Minister Holness is saying, any and everybody will be screened, and unless your screening show that you should be quarantined, you will be tested. So people, how are they going to know that some persons that basically pass, we are talking about the temperature test and all other tests, they are not still carrying this virus? Because like we say, sometimes the virus don't show up until about 14 days after you catch it. So based on what the PNP spokesperson, we are speaking about Dr. Wicker McNeil, he is saying that everybody that is coming to Jamaica that are tourists, they should be pre-tested before them actually enter the island. And people, he is saying that especially persons that are coming from the high-risk area. And people, like I said before, the biggest amount of tourists are coming from Europe. Them are come from UK, them are come from Canada, them are come from America. So are these countries considered as high-risk countries? Are these countries considered as countries in the bubble? Or is there some sort of exception? People, let me know what you think in the comment section. Now, if we remember, it was the same Prime Minister I am speaking about, Holness, that always erred on the side of caution. That means that he was not taking any chance. However, when he was asked about the testing or the pre-testing of these visitors, he said that testing is not a guarantee of immunity. So therefore, he is saying that it is not a sure thing. It is not 100%. However, they were the set of people that were out and about and testing everybody to make sure that they manage. We are speaking about risk management of the COVID-19 before. So people, how is it now that he is having a change of heart or a change of talk? We are speaking about hypocrisy, because the truth and the fact that even though testing is not 100% proof, it is the best thing that we have right now until there's some sort of vaccination. It has worked so far, because we see a lot of Jamaicans are not basically catching this virus, and we are one of the better performing countries as it pertains to the big C. We are talking about the COVID-19. So the point that I am trying to make is that if you have a formula that works, why would you go against it? Why would you basically do something that is counterproductive to what you've been doing before that has been successful? People, it is all about money. It is all about bowing for that tourist dollar, point blank and period. So the Prime Minister Holness is claiming that testing is a gamble, and he does not like to gamble. He likes the risk management. Now people, If that is not some sort of hypocrisy, does that even make sense? Because people, we've heard the Prime Minister saying this over and over for the past 2 or 3 months that testing is the way for basically keep down this thing. So therefore, how is it that now he is talking from the next side of his mouth? People, we are talking about hypocrisy. We are speaking about a set of persons that put dollars before them put health. We are talking about health over wealth. But where is this pressure coming from? People, I'll explain. People, this pressure is coming from persons in high place. We are talking about rich people in Jamaica that are involved in the hotel and tourism sector. And we are speaking about those persons that own Sandals, Rete, Lele, Blue, Blah, Bling. And based on some information that is coming from the chairman of the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce, Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, I am speaking about a person whose name is Robin Russell. He said that Jamaica was left with little choice whether to accept these tourists without any sort of testing. And people, this is the reason why. The Jamaica Hotel and Tourism Association had recommended that all tourists entering Jamaica, they should be encouraged to be tested. So basically, after them said that the airlines, we are speaking about these top airlines, we are speaking about these multi-billion-dollar corporations in America, they said that they don't have the capacity or the willingness to spend the money for basically test people. So therefore, if you want these tourists, if your tourism sector is lacking, if your tourism sector is struggling and you need the money, you basically have to sign the dirty deal. We are speaking about sign a deal with the devil. We are talking about if you want the money or you want to remain poor and have people suffer down here. People, let me know what you think in the comment section. Now we should know, if we know anything about business, that when it comes to these multi-million-dollar corporation or billion-dollar corporation in America, the money is always a bottom line. The profit is always a bottom line. So therefore, if you can minimize your expense, if you can get away with it by pressuring countries like Jamaica, Caribbean countries, and say you are not doing any sort of testing, if you want the tourists and when them come, you test them yourself. You put into place protocols and all sort of stuff to make sure that you are safe or that your people are safe. What is Jamaica going to do? Jamaica is going to bow because it is all about dollars. It is all about wealth over health. Point blank and period. And what made Jamaica's situation even worse is that based on the fact that the Caribbean Tourist and Hotel Association said that they would not be requiring any sort of testing from these tourists coming from these big countries. So therefore, that was based on some information or some advice from the World Health Organization that said that it would not be plausible for these airlines to basically test the people. So they said that it should be left up to these countries. It should be left, the decision should be left up to these countries if they think that it is worth the risk. And when we think about the fact that Jamaica is a third world country and we've already spent in excess of $1 billion to basically manage this COVID-19, is a risk assessment, is it going to make sense? Is it practical? Is it money well spent? So in other words, is Jamaica going to make back that amount of profit or that amount of money to basically justify the risk? Is it being penny wise and pound foolish? People, let me know what you think in the comment section. So people, like I've said before, the bottom line, it is all about money. Money is always the most influential factor. Money is always a motive. And the fact that Jamaica was left standalone, we are speaking about as it pertains to Caribbean nation that are looking for this tourist dollar. So therefore, they open up the border. It is always wealth over health. It is always taking that risk for the money. We are talking about the moolah. We are talking about the greenback. And we see that the Prime Minister of Jamaica, they are being counterproductive because on one hand they are saying that they are looking out for the well-being of the people of Jamaica. On one hand they are testing and spending a lot of money and making people take all sorts of sacrifice. I talk about them for ton of them yard. However, it seems like the tourists are coming here and they are coming in drones. Based on the policy that Jamaica has implemented, may I talk about the government of Jamaica, the tourist board, and also the Ministry of Health. So people, are they being penny wise and pound foolish? So anyway, that is my views on the whole thing as it pertains to that. And like me say, it is just my views and opinion. It is not the gospel. Your views and opinion can be respectfully different from mine. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Bless up.